Welcome back.
I'm Nicole.
And I'm Megan.
And we are the Synchronicity Sisters. We help you change your brain to change your life.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
We do lots of things.
We do lots of things. And today is a very different podcast because we have some exciting news.
Yeah, so we have been navigating this whole thing called dating and online dating, and it has changed a lot in the past 5 years. I was actually talking about this to one of our mentors of just, she got on me because I never follow all the way through. And I'll explain that during the podcast more, but it's just really interesting because now men don't pursue. So women really have to be very conscious of how they're interacting with men and things like that. And so through Nicole and I's dating experiences and through the work of our mentors and things like that, we really had an epiphany of like, oh, you know what people really need help with? And why we're seeing so many single women is not just because the alpha beta dynamic and the boss bitch and everything. It's also just like how to navigate the new way of dating because unfortunately, COVID really changed human interactions and dating dynamics to a point that it's just way crazier than it was 5 years ago. It's interesting how millennials have seen like chivalry. Like when we were still in high school, chivalry was a thing. Like men opened car doors, they paid. There wasn't even a question.
Yeah, it wasn't even negotiable.
And then in our 20s, we kind of saw this shift to like 50-50 Dutch, like... And I was completely weirded out by that. And,
Me too.
And then now it has shifted into men don't even pursue. Because at least even when men were like thinking 50-50 was okay, and I was thinking 50-50 was okay, I did try that, even though all of the relationships within that were very unsuccessful. But it's just, we really need to have... I needed coaching, and now Nicole and I have put together a coaching, basically, container of how to date in today's world, because online dating is the main thing. You can meet people out, but it's like, how do you do that and stay in your feminine and not pursue men, but get men to pursue you? Because men's base, they're very afraid of rejection. So we have to drop the hanky is what we call it, which is like... give them enough positive reinforcement that they will actually pursue. Because men are kind of like little cowering mice in the corner. And I hate to describe a man as that, but in the dating world, that's basically what's happened because they've been called toxically masculine and all these really like derogatory things for the last like 10 years. They've just got the hell beat out of them by women. And then we wonder why they're not masculine anymore and why, they have no ambition or drive and they don't want to provide and all of these things. So this is where we have put together an entire like how to online date and / take on the dating world in today's crazy whatever.
Yeah. So pretty much it is a 12-week mastermind. Right now we're inviting women to join us. It's 12 weeks and we're really excited because we sat down and we like broke down all of the things that Megan and I struggled with and then how we navigated them and have really honed it in so that now we're at the point where we can teach other women how to navigate the dating world, especially the online dating world. Now, if you're already in a relationship, this is also open to you. This can help you dive deeper into getting further commitment from your man, and also how to communicate properly from your feminine.
Inspire masculinity.
Yeah. So what ideally the whole container is going to look like is it's going to be 12 weeks. Once a week, we're going to meet on Zoom. And Megan and I, we're going to cover a topic. And the topics go from everything from what is feminine energy, how to communicate from your feminine, what love is, how to integrate love. What am I missing? I know there's a whole list of them. How to talk to men, how to drop the hanky, how to text with them, how to get them to engage pretty much.
Yeah, how to find a high value man online.
Yeah.
Not just these like Peter Pans live in my mom's basement baby boys, but like, you know, how to cultivate masculinity, how to inspire masculinity, how to cultivate your own femininity, how to dress, you know, what to wear on a first date, how, like, it's literally everything in 12 weeks, and every session ends with a Q&A. And we're going to have a Slack group so that you have access to Nicole and I, and it will be Nicole and I in the Slack group. So also, you know, and men, we're working on yours. We're not eliminating men. We're just doing research because we're not men. So, we're facilitating that, but we need a man to be a part of it. So we're
in the works
figuring that out because we can teach women because we are women. So we've like experienced this firsthand. And so,
so we'll have a Slack group for you women. So you'll get a weekly Zoom meeting with us. It'll be on Wednesday evenings, access to the recordings, access to the Slack group. And then you'll also get a lot of supportive documents. So what I mean by supportive documents is, things on how to build out your online profile, dating profile, how to communicate properly, how certain things main thing we're going to talk about is like not pretzeling, you know, dating within your dating group so that you're not dating your 10. And then we're also going to offer a full profile audit. So a lot of times, and what we have found is a lot of, obviously we know men pick with their eyes. So they aren't going through and like scrolling through. They're scrolling, but very few of them are reading. And so using keywords, breaking down your profile so that you're hitting those high valued men instead of just those men that want to fuck you. Because there's a lot of them out there that are just like scrolling for a fuck is what I call it, or swiping right for a fuck.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about like how to deal with sex in a relationship, how to deal with men like pursuing you for sex and only sex. I mean, just know if a man's pursuing you sexually, then he's pursuing you. We just like how to navigate that. And for those of you that are like, well, well, let me just tell you, almost all of my exes are part of the 1%. I've always had the ability to understand and attract men from the 1%. So now I'm passing that on to you of like what I have done in my life to facilitate always attracting high value men. And no, I've never been married, and that's for other reasons. You'll also learn a lot about Nicole and I's dating history. So if you're interested in just being like, how the hell did you two? You go to hear a lot of our stories and things. But I will pass that knowledge on to you because again, I also used to be a private flight attendant. I've flown with billionaires. I know, you know, not that I'm going to be like, this is how you get a billionaire, because they're obviously, there's very few of them. And I've actually never dated a billionaire. I never dated any of my billionaire bosses. But anyway, it's just I know what their psyche is, and I know the type of women and how those women carry themselves and how they interact with men like that. So we have a ton of information about what those men look for, where they hang out, how they interact with women, what they want from a woman, how they want their women to behave. Because here's the thing, you can't act like a man and attract a man.
Yes.
You're going to attract a feminine man. And, you know, if you want a feminine man, more power to you. But trust me, there's so many secrets and things. And again, you have full access to Nicole and I of like asking questions. You can ask us about our dating history. I may choose not to share like some things, but for the most part, I'm happy to share. And again, we have unique insight, and now we're flipping that into a full-blown dating class. And again, men, it's coming for you. And also, if you're a man and you're like, oh, I can't afford your guys' full coaching, but my girlfriend could really use some coaching, you know, this is a great opportunity at a much lower price point and access to us and picking our brains for 12 weeks. So, you know, and again, if you have questions that are outside of the 12 weeks, you can ask. And yeah, I mean, it's just, did I miss?
Well, and also, you know, Megan is very good at fashion. So if you need any like, you know, styling tips, like how to dress.
We're going to go over makeup,
jewelry,
clothes.
How to be in your feminine, like all the way down to, you know, if you need what to, like, if you're struggling with weight, like all of these things that the feminine are currently working, like struggling with, that we're constantly getting them. Like people are constantly asking questions like, what do you girls eat? What do you do this? What do you work out? Blah, blah, blah. Like you'll have literally full access to what we do, because Megan and I don't share a lot of that on social media because it's just a personal choice. But within the mastermind, we will be opening that up too. If you want to ask us questions about diet and body types, you know, our movement routines, if you need resources, all of that to just better not just your mental, but also your physical, because both together is how you really truly embody your feminine. All the way down to, you know, if you need a good hairdresser, like all of those things that the feminine takes care of her body. And so many women right now are not doing that. And so it'll really be a container of empowering women to really take their femininity back, and while doing so, dating. And like I said, if you are, earlier I mentioned, even if you have a boyfriend or you're like in a fresh partnership, we 100% encourage you to. We want you guys in it, because our goal is to pass on the knowledge to you guys to get you like wifed up and, you know, moving forward in that. And so that's knowing how to communicate, that's knowing how to be in your feminine, that's knowing how to hold strong boundaries. But really, a lot of this is going to be, is you learn a lot about yourself in dating. And so if you're really looking to do some deep soul work, a lot of this is going to be us holding your hand, guiding you through how to not only navigate trauma that's going to come up in relationships, but how to get in those really good, high value men relationships where you're actually getting to see yourself for who you are.
Yeah. And part of the gift of the feminine is, and I'll say this, it's not about, you know, for me, I've always had a really good sixth sense of like where a man's going. And that I didn't realize that was my feminine. Like if you put a group of men in front of me, like I would be able to pick out which one's going to be the most successful. It's like a sixth sense. So I was also like, I'm also going to show you like the characters and things that you look for and the characteristics, because it's not the most attractive man in the room.
No.
It never is. No. You know, it's how to pick out, because what women do is we find the men with the most potential and we guide and cultivate their ambition and their masculinity. That's what feminine is good at, right? So even if you have a guy that's not, you know, you're like dating and you're like, oh, well, you know, he only makes $100,000 a year. Okay, well, how to cultivate, you know, his dreams and things like that, and how to support him in that, because that's what the feminine does, right? We really are the support and the admiration and the fun that inspires the masculine to step in and own the material, right? Because we're their ethereal. And you hear about these, you know, divine unions and things like that. It's like actually how to get into that and cultivate like a man's potential, because if you look at any of the billionaires or anything, 99% of them had a wife by their side while they were cultivating that money. You know, and again, I go extreme with billionaires, but like even men...
Jeff Bezos, Amazon was his wife's idea.
Right. But even like millionaires, you know, again, when men are in chase mode and they're, you know, dating multiple women, their life force is not in full pursue mode of money, right? So men need to have sex taken care of in order to pursue finances. If they're trying to do sex and finances at the same time, they're going to fail. So women are such a huge part of cultivating a man's masculinity and him having one woman by his side that really knows how to support him. And, you know, so again, just how to step into that, because women, it's not in our nature anymore to really understand that and how to step into that. And I've seen this firsthand. So, you know, and again, how to online date. It's literally, if you have a question, we probably have the answer. And if we don't have the answer, I will figure it out. I'll ask one of our mentors, or I will research it and figure it out and be able to. But I would say that I'm, at this point, pretty well skilled. I haven't had a question asked that I didn't know the answer to, unless it was like a football question or like you're gonna ask me about
within your scope of practice. Well, I think the other thing too is that if you are in a relationship, this is huge too, because what happens is a lot of times in the first 6 months you're like it's getting to know each other, and you're like together, and you're like, oh, everything's all rainbows and butterflies. And then you start to get really comfortable. And then that's when relationships start to fall apart, because feminine starts to compete with the masculine energetically. And so this is a big part of what we watch our clients struggle with, and why we see couples break down and divorces happen, is because there starts to be a competition. And that's a big part of what we will help you not to do, is to compete with your man, and how to inspire him while not competing with him. Because right now our world is very much a 50-50, like, dick measuring contest in relationships. And it's really nasty, and it's an ugly world out there right now.
Yeah. And, again, this was kind of an aha moment for me when I had a friend be like, how do you find men like that in the wild? And I was like, oh, it was like an aha moment of like, oh, I didn't even realize like this was actually an art. So, again, it's just it's second nature to us, and it's putting all of it together and just pulling a piece of our company of like how to be in your feminine, and then adding like how to date online and all of that within. So I would take this course, and if it was me, and I was me like 5 years ago, and that's kind of what the avatar that we used of like, okay, if I could go back 5 years and like want to be the woman that I am now, then like what would I teach her?
Yeah, we pretty much like took the archetype of who we are now and what we needed then, and we built this whole entire master class, because it's in such high need, and so many women are coming to us like, how do I do this? How do I do that? And we're like, okay, like, we're here for it. And this mastermind is also a huge networking opportunity. Like, women come together, and it's a community, right? Women grow together as a community. We grow in relationships, but we really thrive in communities. And what it also does is it takes you out of, if you're in a relationship, always needing just your significant other to talk to. That's what a lot of women, they expect their man to like be their sounding board. Well, that's really not, like, men are not good at that. They can be there, but women need other women. And in our society right now, we're very much pushed to compete with one another instead of cultivate and heal each other.
Competition is masculine.
Yeah. And so this is also an opportunity that if you really struggle with like female friends, or like you find the feminine, I don't know, whatever your narrative is, to get a new perspective and maybe make some friends, and get to know us, Meg and I, on more of a personal level, but really like open yourself up to possibilities. If you're listening to this and you're kind of like, oh, I'm not sure, like, I don't really like girls, or I've never got along with them, I always hang out with dudes, this is actually a great opportunity for you to step in, because that means you're heavily in your masculine. If women, if you don't have a lot of women around you, it's a really good indication that there's a wound there, and this container will definitely crack it open and help you look at it.
Yeah, and we have an entire book that I wrote on femininity that will be passed to you guys, and that gives a ton of information and a great reference. If you're in situationships and you want to know how to guide that and possibly get it into a relationship because you've messed up having sex with a guy too soon or mothering him or whatever, get in here and we will help you get either into a relationship or out of that situation.
Yes.
And it's also accountability. Here's the thing. You cannot change if you're not accountable and have something that's going to change your patterning. And it takes 90 days to change a pattern. And that's why this is 90 days long. So, we're here to support you guys. We're so excited about this. It's probably the most exciting launch that I've ever been a part of. I don't know.
Well, we normally don't. This is like a brand new version of like what we've been doing. Like this is a whole new ball game.
Yeah, and we're allowing for you guys also to be able to microdose with this to change the neuroplasticity and the self-awareness and everything faster. So we're also opening up, the cultivation of having something that is usually only allowed in our big containers with our clients. Yeah. So, again, that's also going to be available at a different price point, but of course, you can do it without either one. But if you guys have any questions, we also have a thing to have discovery calls. So you can call and talk to us for 15 minutes if you're like, I don't know if this is for me.
Yeah, you can directly link from our link tree into the Stan store, or down below, if you just comment love, it will automatically send you a DM if you're listening to this on Instagram, or if you're seeing this, just comment love, and then it'll send you directly to the store. The discovery call, all of the details about it are all up there. If you're ready for it, you can pay right on that page. Everything is right there.
Yeah, and we're just super excited about it. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you can always message us or just get in touch.
Yep.
And we hope we see you in the container until the next podcast, which will be tomorrow.
Bye.